Hey YouTube, Alan back. A lot quicker than I expected, but Nintendo decided to follow my suit and put up a new Nintendo Direct. And I was going to talk about the Nintendo Direct, the games unveiled and whatnot. And what actually changed my mind was the unveiling of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. I thought they were going to do a kind of a Zelda 35th thing, but they just unveiled that. And it really kind of brought back a topic that I've been meaning to talk about, and that is ports and remakes, and where do they fit in? How do you value them? And fundamentally, why do you buy them? And the reason why it kind of springs to mind is because unsurprisingly, people were kind of complaining, the price and, oh, it's full price again and whatnot. And firstly, I'm like, if you've seen Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, you knew this was going to be full price. It is a bit disappointing when you consider that, when Skyward Sword came out, and it's somewhere in the back there, I should have actually taken it down. It was something like €69, and you got the Wiimote Plus controller, this special CD, and the game. Whereas now the port is going to be probably 60, and then the special controllers announced are probably going to be 60 on top of that. So no CD and everything. But that shouldn't be a surprise, because frankly, that's the way things have been going. Just as an example, here is a game that I picked up recently. Mario 3D All-Stars. Well, recently, when it came out. Now, Amazon were doing a kind of discount on it, that's why I picked it up. And I hemmed and hawed because fundamentally... Oops. Knocking everything over. They'll come out later, those ones. The game's on it. Mario 64. My original from back in the day. Still have it. Still brilliant. Have an N64, can play it when I want. Super Mario Sunshine. I didn't 100% this back in the day. I did complete it, but I didn't get all the blue coins and whatnot. Good game, but I didn't get into it as much as 64. And then, of course, Mario Galaxy on the Wii. Now, for Sunshine and Galaxy, part of me did think, this used, to a degree, the kind of analog buttons, and this definitely used like the pointer and the motion. How is that going to work on a Switch? And more to the point, these three games are absolutely classics. But why do I want them on the Switch? We'll get to that in a bit. Because that really set the story, though, for where Nintendo goes with ports today. They put basically 3 ROMs with a few tweaks on to the Switch, charge €60, job done, and, well, people spent, they sold like 10 million copies already, or thereabouts. So clearly the market is telling them, hey, we're willing to pay €60 for this game. Even apparently it's limited, it's going to go in March, but there might just be ROM collections, unlike what Activision have done and what Nintendo have done in some cases in the past, where they've actually put effort. And that's where I talk about, okay, these are ports. They're in that case, they're actually emulated games. But Nintendo have sometimes done a little more in the past. I mean, you talk about The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Again, I have Ocarina of Time on the N64. I probably have it digitally too. And then I have it on the 3DS. But when Nintendo ported this to the 3DS, there was a lot more effort. It is updated graphics, they've made some tweaks and whatnot. And of course, first time portable. And that starts to get into, again, why buy it? If I already own the game, I own Mario, I own Zelda, why buy it? And here's another example. Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap on the Master System, one of my absolute all-time favorites, and one of the best 8-bit games, period. Doesn't matter, Nintendo, Sega, whatever. Wonder Boy, The Dragon's Trap. No 3, they dropped that. Probably because the 3 was actually kind of confusing given how many Wonder Boy games there are. On the Switch. Now this is on multiple consoles, and a nice little thing on this one, it has retro mode, so it actually is pretty much a replica of the original, and the passwords would work on the Master System version if you so wanted. So technically it's cross-compatible too, which is great. But there we have 3 games. Like, fundamentally, it's the same game with nice tidied up graphics. It's the same game with tidied up graphics and portable. I guess you could say this is portable. They're the same games with barely tidied up graphics. They are clearer, and it's portable. if you so interested. But fundamentally, they're all the same games. They're not quite even the full revamps with the budget release like Activision's Spyro and Crash trilogies. So the question then, why do we keep rebuying them? And I think the answer is it's not about the monetary value, because clearly this is not as good a value as Spyro trilogy. But I played all of this. I have Spyro trilogy digitally, but I played all of this. Really, it's nostalgia and a reason. People, I think, and certainly me personally, look for a reason to play the game again in many ways, subconsciously. Yes, you kind of can say, okay, there's going to be a certain set of people who they don't have an N64 to play, the original versions of these games, or an N64. It's not the easiest console to hook up to modern TVs, and you might be looking for a newer solution. There's plenty of clone consoles and emulation. So again, it gets back to why do you buy these? And I think fundamentally it does boil down to you want a reason almost to buy them again. You want the reason to jump back in, because like Wonder Boy 3, I've played this dozens of times. I've cleared it dozens and dozens of times. I am so familiar, I could almost do it in my sleep type of experience. But I will still go back to it. But anything that gives me just that extra incentive, and if it's just a fresh coat of paint, there's a tiny bit of extra content, but fundamentally, this is just a fresh coat of paint. Brilliant, beautiful coat of paint, and great new music remixes and stuff. But fundamentally, it's the same gameplay experience. But it was enough, because it made it feel fresh, made it feel new, and you're always chasing those experiences when you play games, and anything to give that freshness. Zelda, this one here, I pretty much got the 3DS. In fact, I might have got the 3DS just to play this game, because I wanted to re-experience Ocarina of Time. I still had it. I could have re-experienced it anytime I want. Some of my other videos, I touch on retro achievements, and that's a big part of the appeal of retro achievements. It's an excuse to go back and play Mario, Sonic, whatever the game is that I grew up with and other people grow up. And I think, as I said, subconsciously it applies to everyone. It just gives you that reason to try another challenge within this game. And for something like Mario 64 and the 3D ones, it's very true, because once I played that game, I was near the end of it. I got it, the Christmas after it came out. The Christmas after it came out in Europe. Just as I was near the end of the game, I didn't want it to be over, so I intentionally deleted my save file. And I was on something like nearly 90 stars, so I'd have to start over, have to do it again, because I just couldn't. I didn't want it to end, and I wanted to keep experiencing it. And when I did finish it, I kept jumping in and making additional challenges. What if you can make it to the top of the first level, King Bob-omb, without pressing the jump button? What if you could, get down to the penguin a different way? All this type of stuff. Just silly little challenges just to keep re-experiencing it. So when people get on Twitter and they get on Facebook and social media and they complain about Nintendo prices, well, one, the market is bearing them out. I totally agree. When I see Skyward Sword HD, to be honest, I was hoping for a 3D kind of collection, where you get maybe Twilight Princess HD, Wind Waker HD, and Skyward Sword HD all bundled together for 60, because I thought that'd be a good bundle. I own the Wii U releases; they were great. I really enjoyed them, but you always look for that value. But people, clearly, the market is telling Nintendo and other companies, yes, please re-release your games again and again and again. Look at Sega with Sonic the Hedgehog. The amount of times they've sold the original Sonic the Hedgehog from the Mega Drive, it's been ported to the Saturn, downport, I guess, to the Master System and Game Gear. You have it on collections on the GameCube, PlayStation 2, digitally on 3DS and various platforms, Steam and whatnot. And people keep buying it. And when they bring out the next ages or next type of line, Sonic will probably be there again, and people will keep buying it. When you look at the best-selling versions of Sega Ages, it's not the games that didn't come out. You would think something like Virtual Racing, which is very rarely seen home releases, and certainly not one as good as the Sega Ages one on the Switch, that would be maybe the best-selling release. But no, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. People have nostalgia. People want to just jump back in and experience it again. And to be brutally honest, what actually tipped me over the edge for this, because this one was one that I was really kind of hemming and hawing over. The Switch is convenient. Modern gaming is convenient, and being able to take that convenient and apply it to your kind of retro nostalgia, that's very appealing. And just being able to kind of pause your game, save states, that type of stuff, it's brilliant. So I can totally understand why people would kind of say, oh god, that's a rip-off. It's just ROMs thrown on a disc or on a cartridge, and that's true too. So anyway, I'm really kind of curious what other people think. Do they see that they're being ripped off? What do they personally find themselves rebuying the games like I have clearly found myself over the years rebuying the same games? And if so, why? I'd be definitely curious to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But anyway, I'm going to try and keep this one short, so we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.